Tell me if this makes sense to any of you guys. 26-year-old girl gets into an argument with her father. 5 a.m. in the morning, she jumps out of her window, which is 7 feet off the ground, hits the ground, takes off running, disappears without a trace, and is never seen again. Here's a little plot twist. 3 months later, the house burns down and somebody died inside. Let's dive deeper into this case and see what we can figure out. May 2nd, 2021, around 5 a.m., Kaitlyn has an argument with her father. They live off Turkey Road up in Hillham, Tennessee. Apparently, after the argument, the story goes she jumped out of her window, which is 7 feet off the ground, hits the ground running, takes off into the woods, and vanishes without a trace. She was also barefoot, and she was also in her blue polka dot pajamas. Now check out this little plot twist. 3 months later, the house that she supposedly jumped out of the window burned to the ground, and her father had a girlfriend, and she was found in the basement of the home, deceased. Now, as far as I can tell, the investigation into her death is still to be determined. Now, I've had a chance to speak with the family, and I asked them first thing, do you think she planned this? Did she plan to jump out of the window, jump into somebody's car who was waiting, and they leave to never be seen again? Maybe to start off a better life. Now, they tell me there's no chance. Now, to top things off on, she was barefoot and in her pajamas, and it was around 50-degree weather at the time of her disappearance. The woods that surround her house are very thick and very hilly. And there are holes all over the place that lead into an underground cave system. So that brings up more questions. Did she somehow fall down a ravine and she's still there to this day? Did she fall into a hole and she's in one of these caves? I also found out that the authorities didn't actually start searching for her actively until February, obviously, which is many months after she went missing. Once again, sounds like the authorities may have dropped the ball on this. Now, the family did bring in private investigators to search the woods thoroughly, and from what I hear, they did do a good job, but they did not find anything. And that raises some questions that I immediately have. Is this whole jumping out of the window at 5 in the morning in her pajamas barefoot, is that all completely fabricated by the father? Did he do something to his own daughter? It's kind of leaning that way, because if, let's just think about this for a second. She jumps out of the window 7 feet off the ground, barefoot in her pajamas. That's gonna hurt. Now, let's say she didn't injure herself when she hit the ground and she took off running. If you see the picture of her house, the window that she jumped out of leads right to the driveway of the neighbor's house. And it's a long dirt road driveway. This is out in the country. Now, if she would have ran to that house looking for help, obviously this wouldn't be a big secret. That would have came out. The neighbors would have called somebody. They would know where she is today. So she didn't go to that house. And if she ran out to the road and was running down the street, the houses are very few and far between. So we're talking a mile or two down the road till she even hits the next house. And then that brings up another theory. What if a car came by and picked her up and she jumped in it? That's plausible, but then where did she go from there? She didn't jump out of the window in her pajamas barefoot with a wad of cash. As far as I know, if she did go out the window, she just woke up and that's what she was wearing. So she didn't have any cash. She wasn't ready for this. This wasn't planned. So somebody picking her up, unless it was a bad guy and it was just a horrible situation and she got snatched while she was out running and then something happened to her that way, that could be a theory. Very far-fetched though. And then you start thinking about the fire that started in August, 3 months after she disappeared. Now, the girlfriend, Dad had a girlfriend, and she was found in the basement deceased, like I said. I can't find anything on looking like, is the dad a suspect? Was this arson? Are police still investigating? And all the information that I'm trying to get from these investigation videos that I'm giving to you guys is what I'm finding online and what I can get from the family. I'm not talking to any of the investigators or the authorities, and chances are they're not going to tell me anything because I'm just a guy with a camera wanting to tell a story. And they don't want, for one reason or another, they don't want to tell me anything. Could it be because they're lazy and they're not doing their job correctly? Could it be they're corrupt? Could it be they're doing the best they can, and obviously this is an official investigation and they don't talk to civilians? All those things come into play because all of those things could happen. It does happen, unfortunately, depending on where you're at. Now, I've also heard that ever since February of 2022, nothing has been updated towards the investigation. Not even keeping Kaitlyn's story alive. No missing flyers, no official posts on websites or Facebook pages. They just said, meh, and that's that. Now, that's what I've been hearing from the family. And if you are one of the officials who are investigating this case and you're watching my video, by all means reach out to me. I would love to do a follow-up video because I may be way off base. This is just an opinion video, me giving my opinion in keeping Kaitlyn's story alive. It's been 3 years without a trace. She doesn't deserve to be forgotten like all the other missing people in the world. It's as simple as that. Now, Kaitlyn does have a few siblings, and none of them are considered suspects in this case because they all have solid alibis. They was out of the state at the time she went missing, so that just leaves them out of the equation altogether. As far as I'm concerned, what I'm thinking is there was dad, there was girlfriend, and there was Kaitlyn in that house at 5 in the morning. Something happened. Did she jump out of that window and run off and disappear into the woods? That is so highly unlikely for the main fact that searches have been done in that area. They brought in canines and bloodhounds. They never picked up a scent. I would assume, now don't quote me on this, but they would have taken those dogs and like had some of Kaitlyn's personal belongings, like her pillow that sniffed it, and they would at least have hit by the window, you know? But from what I'm hearing, they didn't hit on anything. There was no scent anywhere. So what does that tell you? Does that tell you she didn't even jump out of that window? That tells me this is all fabricated. There was no girl jumping out of the window at 5 a.m. You know, it's just, that makes no, I just don't think it happened. Cut and dry, I think that's a lie. Now, for the life of me, I would love to know how the investigation is going. Are they pointing the fingers at the dad? Are they secretly still investigating the dad? Why was the girlfriend found deceased in the basement? Was this fire considered an accident? What started the fire? Were there accelerants used? Another thing, if a girl jumps out of a window from 7 feet high barefoot, I wonder the first place you would look, are there any impact points in the dirt? Footprints, loose dirt, something. I mean, it might be gravel or grass and it doesn't leave a footprint, but there's so many ways you could think about this that debunks jumping out of the window and running into the woods and disappearing. You don't just run into the woods and vanish without a trace. Now, I did bring up the whole, there is a cave system around that area and there are holes everywhere that lead to a cave system. Were all of these holes in caves searched? I have no idea. But to me, if you're running in the woods and it's 5 a.m., the sun is probably just coming up, you really can't see anything, you fall into one of these holes, that's plausible. You could disappear, and I wouldn't think, unless somebody was really actively looking in these holes, that is a plausible thing. But I'm pretty sure all these holes were searched. How thoroughly? I don't know. What if she fell down one of these holes and there is a cave system and she was injured but still able to move? What if she wandered off into the cave system trying to find a way out and she got lost and passed away that way? That's a thing. That's a theory. I wonder if anybody's ever followed up on that theory. Now, as I was investigating this case online, I found a Reddit feed that is dedicated to people essentially debating and just talking amongst one another about their theories about this case. And one comment came to mind that really caught my attention. It said May 21st, 2021 was a Sunday. So let's say something happened to her that's, you know, she didn't jump out of a window. Let's say dad did something to Kaitlyn. He would have had all day to report her as missing. He could have waited till Monday because weekend usually everywhere's closed. So he could have stalled reporting her missing until Monday and probably had got away with it. Something else I read was the screen to the window was pushed out. That could mean Kaitlyn pushed it out when she jumped out of the window, but that could also mean we're just trying to steer the investigation the wrong way. So we're going to go over here and push the screen out to make it look like somebody actually did go out the window. Because it'd be pretty hard to jump out of a window with a screen in it. You know what I mean? That'd be the cop. That should throw a big red flag. But the screen was knocked out, so it made it look like somebody did go out that window. If you jump into the forums and the comments of any page that's following this story, it's reading the exact same way I'm thinking. This is a lie. She didn't go out that window. She didn't run into the woods and disappear. Something happened to her, and the only suspect is her father. And for some reason, this dude's, from what I'm reading, he's not a suspect. He's not being investigated. I think he moved to Indiana. Like, he doesn't even live in the state anymore. Everyone's thinking what I'm thinking. You know, and I'll say it out loud right here. I'm saying foul play. I'm saying something happened that morning. It might not have even been that morning. It could have been any time at the night. Because there's no witnesses. This whole polka dot PJs, jumping out of the window at night, barefoot, all 5 a.m. All this stuff was said by the only witness, which is her father. The girlfriend was there, but now she's dead. So was she part of it? Was she a witness to it, and that's why she was offed? Was she offed at all? Was this fire an accident, or was it more? This looks like foul play to me. This looks like hardcore murder. This looks like it should be an open and shut case, but whoever's investigating it, who knows what they're figuring out. But you know what? It's been years, and there is no update. From what I've heard from the family, nothing is being done. And sadly, in this part of Tennessee, it is happening to so many people in so many different ways that it's just heartbreaking. And the only people that seem to really be suffering and are vocal about it are the families. And their reach, unfortunately, is not far enough. So that's why I'm doing this video, because I want to get the word out. We're going to keep Kaitlyn's story alive, and we're going to hopefully find some answers. Collectively, between you and me and anybody else, we could probably figure this out better than the investigators are, because it's been years. Girl's still missing, and nobody's a suspect, nobody's in jail, nobody's been charged with a crime. We got one missing girl, we got one lady that's dead, and we got the dad. And dad is not sitting in jail right now. So what does that tell you? You guys tell me in the comments below what you think about this story, and maybe I'll do a follow-up. If I get some more information, I will definitely do a follow-up, because obviously I don't want to be steering anybody in the wrong direction, and I don't want to badmouth anybody that doesn't deserve to be badmouthed. The purpose of this video and all the other future videos are to keep the missing person story alive. Give a voice to the voiceless. And that's what we're going to do. So if you guys enjoy this content and you want to help me bring some closure to the families, make sure you like and subscribe to this video. Comment down below. Tell me what you think. And together, maybe we can get the family some answers. Until we meet again, my name is Jeremy. I'll see you guys on that next video.